This is the train that Gavin Newsom promised to give to Californian people. A fully electric train that can go over 200 miles per hour and get you from LA to San Francisco in under 3 hours. Now, 17 years later, after this promise, this is the reality of what Californians have. This is a hunk of junk that is plowing its way through more junk. However, in this video, we are going to be talking about their unfortunate failed leadership by Governor Gavin Newsom. Would you please make sure that you are subscribed and like this video? Thank you. This person says that in 10 years, they've completed 11 miles of the track for $33 billion. Where is the money going? They also called it a money laundering scheme.
I want to address the protesters for a moment, if I could. I think they were chanting, "Build the rail." It's been 17 years and $16 billion, and no rail has been built. So if you want to go protest somewhere, if you want to shout at someone, go to the governor's mansion. Go talk to Democrats in the legislature who have brought us this crappy project, right? So we've seen over the course of the last month what DOGE has exposed with regard to fraud, waste, and abuse, and we're done with it. And you know what? You're going to have people who love fraud, who love waste, who love trains to nowhere. But all of us up here, we do not love fraud, waste, and abuse. We are going to use the taxpayer money efficiently and effectively, and this is a boondoggle.
He said 17 years, $16 billion, and they don't really have anything at all to show for it except for a few stations that you're going to see. Where did the money go? How do you lose it? Or are they hiding it? Is it in somebody's pocket? I really hope that DOGE will let us know where it went. This was from 2015.
Hearing about how wonderful the transportation system is in France and Japan, and have you been to Shanghai, or do you know what they're doing in Beijing? Well, finally, California is going to get it right with this new high-speed rail, and that northern terminus will happen here. And this project,
I think that people are sick and tired of you making promises that you're not keeping, because now this is him in 2025 still talking about it.
Like this exists anywhere in the United States of America. You want to be big, you got to be big in big things. This is the biggest economy in the United States of America, $3.86 billion. It's about damn time we have a high-speed rail system in the great state of California.
Yeah, it definitely is about time. And I guess that California just has a really weird, corrupt system that seems to work. Somehow they stay afloat. Let's go through the timeline of Newsom's train.
LA in 2.5 hours, $55. In California, we're still debating a high-speed rail. What a joke.
well, finally, California is going to get it right with this new high-speed rail.
I personally have been supportive of the high-speed rail project since my time as mayor of the city and county of San Francisco.
The project is no longer a $33 billion project. The project's years and years behind. The project's wildly over budget. That doesn't mean it's a bad idea.
We do have the capacity to complete a high-speed rail link between Merced and...
He's like, it doesn't mean that it's not a bad idea, so therefore we should keep funding it, because if we get more money, then maybe someday it'll magically happen.
Bakersfield. Now, I know some critics are going to say, well, that's a train to nowhere.
Yeah.
A real federal partner, their high-speed rail system, an incredible opportunity to finish the work.
High-speed rail was mentioned. $4.2 billion is being requested of the legislature to finish the job.
To someone who's all in on high-speed rail.
The high-speed rail, not as a
Oh
rail.
my goodness. Imagine if your parents gave you $20 to come back with some fast food, and then you left and you came back with nothing, and you're like, you know what? We need more money. And so they're like, okay, and they give you $40. You leave and then you come back and you're like, wait, no, we're gonna need more money to have a really nice meal. And then you would expect them to keep giving you money to keep funding this project? I don't think that DOGE is gonna be okay with this. I see this post that says Gavin Newsom would appreciate it if we didn't retweet this. And so why not just share it on YouTube as well?
I want to make it clear that everything you've heard and read is true. And I am deeply sorry about that. I've hurt someone I care deeply about, Alex Turk, his friends and family.
So he is apologizing for getting caught sleeping with his campaign manager's wife. Maybe we'll get a confession video about the train soon. Here it is. This is it.
They've been working on this stretch for about a little over 3 years now.
It's like the Titanic clip. It has been 80 years. Wow.
It crosses over Highway 198 here in Hanford, California.
Man, oh man.
All right, I'm doing.
Oh,
This
that's
is
an
a
eyesore.
Number 2 video. This is they have not even. This is an undone section of the high-speed rail right here. Same spot here in Hanford, California. This is over towards the middle. There used to be a house here. So this would be like a little part 2.
They got rid of people's houses, got rid of a park to put some metal poles that have just been sitting there for years. Kevin Dalton posted on X that Gavin Newsom welcomes an audit of California's high-speed rail project, but is concerned about taxpayers getting audit fatigue. Oh no. I mean, these federal workers, they're already overworked. Wouldn't want them to get involved here, right?
Issues of audits. I mean, I was commenting when I was with President Trump. We talked about the high-speed rail, and there was some discussion, before the public presentation on high-speed rail last week around audits. I think we've been audited 100 times there. Happy to see another audit. At a certain point, you have audit fatigue. I think at the end of the day, people want outcomes and they want results for their money spent. Audits for audit's sake.
He's like, we don't really need to do audits because that's going to be too much work. So we should just get the train by getting more money.
No one.
He's like Zelensky.
Services headlines. What people want is problems solved.
I think what the people want is Gavin recalled. Gavin Newsom has made other promises as well, like 1,200 tiny homes. And I just think it has to be so much easier to be a politician than to be an entrepreneur and have to make a legitimate pitch to a business and why it is going to be profitable and what your plans are. But instead, you just come up with some brilliant idea. You're like, yes, tiny homes, tiny homes. I see them everywhere. Now, we should give me billions of dollars. How much money did he want for this? We are deploying 1,200 tiny homes by fall at the cost of $750 million taxpayer dollars, all because it sounds nice. I mean, he's like the guy from O'Hare Air. He's just like full of bad ideas.
And so what we are doing is we're deploying these 1,200 plus units. You can see these units are not just, in every case, for one individual, multiple individuals in these units. We're hoping to get them constructed in a matter of months.
Are those the tents that they have all over California? Is that what they spent that on? Or did they get the tents themselves?
It's not years. I wanted to say the summer. My staff said press will attack us if we fall short. So we're saying the fall.
Gonna go.
And so what we are doing is we're deploying these 12.
That was so weird. We're deploying. I mean, people have been making fun of this guy left and right. He could be spending his time actually fulfilling these projects and coming up with processes and operations to actually make sure that these plans will get done and that they'll have a due date and that they'll be done on time. And yet instead, he's just like, you know what? I'm going to start a podcast. And then I'm going to drop a meme coin and I'm just going to become an influencer now. His little ad for his podcast was saying that he's going to have the important conversations with people that he disagrees with. And this is the only thing that I've seen from him so far, talking about the Mendez brothers.
A lot of questions, a lot of calls about something that's getting a lot of attention, unsurprisingly, and that's what's going on with the Menendez brothers.
Yeah.
Just a quick update today.
Let's talk about them. I mean, you're a figure yourself. You could literally talk about you and talk about the things that you're doing.
Just notified the LA DA as well as the Menendez attorney, including victims, that I directed the Board of Parole hearings to do what we call.
I mean, I think that this just further proves that it's all a show. We are implementing. We're going to build this. We're going to build that. Everybody's talking about the Mendez brothers. I mean, what about things that matter? And it just seems like it's such a crazy time for Gavin because Trump is in office now. And so he's been just such a hateful person to Trump. But then when they met, they had such a nice time. And now Gavin Newsom is encouraging federal employees to actually go into the office. And so it's just great to see that Trump has just like a huge upper hand on him.
White House is looking to sell the Nancy Pelosi Federal Building on 7th Street and the century-old building at 50 United Nations Plaza. The Trump administration says it will save money by avoiding maintenance on the buildings, selling the properties, then leasing office space for federal workers. Former Congresswoman Jackie Spears says it's just about vengeance.
Why does she have her name on the side of the building? That is so crazy. The Nancy Pelosi Federal Building in San Francisco. Yes, sell it. Get rid of it. That is such a good idea. I mean, you cannot escape Doge. Gavin Newsom is in big trouble, guys. Here's what Speaker Mike Johnson had to say about Gavin Newsom.
That could be a red line for you. ID as a condition for aid to California. Is that going to be a red line for you? Would you insist on voter ID in exchange for aid to California?
Yeah, we've got to work out the details of that. I have not spoken to the president about that issue since he said that. He'll be here tonight, of course, for dinner with us, and that's one of the topics of discussion. Listen, there are a lot of issues going on in California, and we have been lamenting the lack of voter security there for some time, election security. We were deeply concerned about it in this last election cycle, and we saw 3 of our seats, frankly, slip away from us in the weeks that it took to continue counting ballots in California when seemingly every other state and nation in America can get it done. It's inexcusable. Gavin Newsom provides, I think, such a lack of leadership there in so many ways, and it was highlighted by the disaster with the fires. It's so heartbreaking that California citizens are suffering because of the lack of state and local leadership on those issues. They did not manage the forest well. They did not manage the water well. And everyone knew for decades that the eventuality that we've seen over the last couple of weeks here since the fire disasters began was foreseeable. They assumed the risk because of their crazy far-left policies.
No, this seems like a really good time to talk about the Mendez brothers. Please, let's not talk about the things that matter. So this woman was on the ground talking to many firefighters, and she found out that Gavin Newsom was stopping people in California from receiving Starlink.
The firefighters that I spoke with told me that Gavin Newsom directed the removal of Elon Musk from the command post where he was live streaming with that battalion chief. Also ordered the Cal Fire firefighters to return and not accept the donated Starlink.
I'm just trying to think of some reasons as to why somebody would do that. And the only reason that I can come up with, because I don't understand why you wouldn't want people to be okay and be able to have communications, is that maybe because it was coming from a private company. And if they got the help that they needed, then they wouldn't be able to just receive so much funding in aid, you know? I can totally see why so many people want Gavin Newsom gone. Mel Gibson spoke at a rally to recall Gavin Newsom.
People in charge did.
Our heroes, Governor Newsom and Karen Bass, let us all.
Yep. Heck yeah.
The privilege of living in the beautiful state of California, we citizens in the state pay the highest tax levels in the USA.
Wow. Yeah, that's crazy. They pay so much money in taxes, and here they are just standing in rubble. To be completely fair, many places in California are just absolutely breathtaking. However, it is just bizarre to know that some places in California literally look like invasions, where people don't buy land, they just come in and put up sheet metal, and then they say that this land is mine now. And then they put their belongings, they refuse to leave. And I mean, they have built an entire community. That is so tragic. It is a wasteland. It looks absolutely filthy. I would not want to drive past this, not want my kids to be around this or see this. I mean, this is really, really sad that this is not being taken care of. And yet they have received billions of dollars to fix it. And yet they have just like an entire neighborhood of this. So this was pretty bizarre. We have Gavin Newsom waiting 10 minutes for Trump to get off of the jet. This was after the Palisades fires when Trump went to speak with Gavin Newsom. But then some pretty bizarre stuff happened that I just found out about. And so people were making some weird rumors, all because Gavin greeted Melania. So you can see that he gives her a normal greeting, but yet you have people saying that she had the right hat for the right occasion because there was memes of Trump kissing Melania when she had a big hat on.
Gavin Newsom is so hot. Oh my God, he kissed me when I got off the plane. I'm never washing my cheek again. It's hard to imagine that anything is dry in California when he's around.
Okay. I mean, this was totally unnecessary. And I just found out that this existed because, and I don't know if this is why Melania did it. When I found out that she came out with this announcement, I found it very smart and very important right now. She's trying to create a Take It Down Act, which will criminalize the publishing of non-consensual images and AI videos. So here's a little clip of that.
The widespread presence of abusive behavior in the digital domain affects the daily lives of our children, families, and communities.
So some psychopath took this clip of Melania and Gavin and used AI to make it look like they were making out. And it was creepy because it looked real. And so I don't know if that maybe somehow influenced her desire to make these types of bad and harmful AI videos stop and have some type of punishment to them, because that's horrible. I mean, Gavin Newsom sucks. Why would anybody ever want to see some type of fake video of themselves like that?
So it's not the $6 billion that people continue to talk about in the media. It's $9.5 billion.
Jeez, that is $9.6 billion for healthcare for illegals. This is what Gavin Newsom's priorities are. He raises a bunch of money, he spends some of it horribly, and the rest of it just disappears. The average American has better financial spending and better financial habits than Gavin Newsom does, because in my opinion, he just seems very, very corrupt. Is the money worth your peace of mind? I really don't think so, because you can make money in every single way that is possible. They say that there are as many ways to become a millionaire as there are millionaires. So do what you love, do something that is right, do something that is going to help people, but don't just screw people over, because that is going to come back to you. So it's very important to understand what your mission is. Please make sure that you're subscribed. I'll see you next time. Bye.